Every time you send personal data over the internet, it travels through public servers and routing hubs. Your information becomes a stream of exposed data, which is completely vulnerable to interception by anyone monitoring the network. To protect this data, we use cryptography. It is the practice of securing communication by ensuring that information is only accessible to the intended recipient. Historically, this relied on symmetric encryption, where the sender and receiver use the exact same secret password to lock and unlock the message. This creates a problem. To share that password over an insecure network, you risk the password itself being intercepted. Securing the data was easy. The unsolvable problem was the logistics of handing a secret password to a stranger across the globe without a safe path to deliver it. This dilemma was solved by an engineered system called asymmetric cryptography. Instead of one shared password, it relies on a decoupled pair of mathematically related keys. Think of one half of this pair, the public key, as a location where anyone in the world can drop a message. It is an encryption-only mechanism, distributed publicly because it cannot read the data inside. Once encrypted and submitted, the record is fixed. The original sender cannot retrieve the message they just sent. Accessing the information requires the second half of the pair, the private key. This unique string of data is kept secret by the owner, acting as the only mathematical input capable of reversing the encryption. Because the ability to encrypt a message is mathematically separated from the ability to decrypt it, complete strangers can securely communicate. They never have to coordinate or exchange a secret password beforehand. This eliminates the need to trust the network or the messenger. The mathematics themselves guarantee the secrecy of the exchange. Secrecy alone doesn't solve every problem. Even if an adversary can't read an encrypted message, they could intercept it and maliciously alter the data in transit. To prevent tampering, we use a cryptographic hash function. This algorithm creates a mathematical fingerprint for the data that reveals any unauthorized changes. This shows how the function works. It takes a massive amount of arbitrary input data, runs it through a one-way algorithm, and condenses it into a fixed-length string of characters. You cannot reverse engineer this output to reconstruct the original text. Checking this generated sequence provides a mathematical guarantee of the data's exact state and origin. The generated hash is strictly tethered to the exact state of the input data. Every comma, space, and letter dictates the final sequence. If you alter a single character in the source text, you trigger the avalanche effect. The minor edit cascades through the algorithm, and the entire output string restructures into a completely different sequence. This extreme algorithmic volatility makes digital forgery obvious. If an intercepted message arrives with even a slightly different fingerprint, the recipient knows immediately that the data was corrupted. Any change to the digital information, no matter how small, causes the mathematics to reflect tampering. What happens when we combine public key cryptography and hash functions to secure a global network? We create a blockchain. This system takes these secured records and distributes them across a network of computers. Because every participant holds an identical copy of the digital ledger, the data no longer relies on a single central server. As seen here, the network groups transaction data into standardized, secure containers called blocks. To prevent anyone from rearranging the timeline, the unique hash fingerprint of a block is mathematically embedded directly into the start of the next block. This creates a chronological dependency. The integrity of the newest block relies entirely on the unaltered state of every block that came before it. This interlocking architecture ensures that the historical record remains consistent and verifiable across every node in the network. Imagine an adversary attempts to secretly alter a transaction buried deep inside a historical block. The moment the data changes, the avalanche effect forces a new hash to generate. This mismatch instantly invalidates the links connecting that block to the rest of the chain. Because the network relies on consensus, the other nodes automatically detect the mathematical break and reject the tampered version of the ledger. For centuries, global commerce required us to place our faith in human middlemen, banks and governments, to verify our records and prevent fraud. By combining asymmetric cryptography and hash functions, we have moved past the need for human intermediaries. The network security is defined by mathematical proofs that any participant can audit.